major third home, I guess. Greetings, friends and fellow cigar box guitar enthusiasts. Del Puckett here, and in this video here, I am going to explain the differences between equal tempered, just intonation, and just tempered. So this is a 25-inch scale, just intonated, and I put them all side by side. This is the 25-inch equal tempered, and a couple things I wanted to point out is that I was very careful to line up all of the nuts and or the 0 fret positions so that you can see the discrepancies between some of these frets here. It's really noticeable when you compare the just intonation to the equal tempered. Now, one thing I want to point out here, if you look here at the double dot, which is the 12th fret, you can see that all of these guys line up. So 12.5 is half of 25. So this is the 12th fret for the equal tempered. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting. So the just intonation is based on the harmonic series. So these little fractions here, that's the harmonic. So if you take your string and divide it in half, 2, that's what the 2 is. So it's divided in half is 2. So that's what the 12th fret harmonic is. Now you come down here to the 7th fret, that's going to be divide by 3. That's going to give you this fret. You come down here to the 5th fret, that harmonic is going to be divide by 4. And if you're at all familiar with the harmonics and the frets, you would know that the major third here is sharp on equal tempered, but just tempered we follow the harmonics, and so that's divide by 5. So we put the fret right underneath the harmonic. Then divide by 6 is the minor third. There's actually another minor third here called divide by 7. That's why there's, in this area right here, it's just a sweet spot of just all sorts of crazy notes. You'll notice here that the minor third here is a little bit flat as compared to just intonation. That's why that the blues guys are always bending this minor third just a little tiny bit, a quarter bend, to get to that harmonic right there. And then divide by 9, crazy. This guy here is what, divide by 15 for the second. So equal tempered, just intonation. And then what I did here, it's kind of hard to see, is for the just tempered, I split the difference between equal tempered and just intonation. You can see that this guy here is like kind of in the middle between these two. This guy lines up pretty good here. This one here, same thing, it's in the middle between these two. This one here is in the middle between these two. This guy here pretty much lines up exact. For the flat 5, now for the flat 5, I've opted for the equal tempered flat 5. So I don't go with any of these harmonics for the flat 5. I go with the equal tempered just because I like the sound of the half of the octave. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I personally just like the equal tempered flat 5, and that's why I use it. The normal 5 is pretty much the same. This 8th fret here, the same thing. You can see that I go with exactly halfway point between this guy and this guy, so it's right in the middle there. Same thing here. I go right in the middle. This is an interesting one here. This is the flatted 7th, and I opt for the harmonic subdivision that occurs on the B string. It's just natural to my ear, so I don't necessarily subscribe to the harmonics that, I mean, when I play them, it sounds good, but in context of blues, I prefer, and it basically, and this one here also follows the equal tempered also. So I basically, I'm going with the equal tempered flatted 7th. And it does happen to line up with the harmonic that is in relationship with the B string. The 11th fret here, again, I'm splitting the difference here, you can tell. Splitting the difference. And the same goes for the rest of the octave. And so this is a hybrid. This is a cross-pollination between these two. So anyhow, I know that was a long, drawn-out explanation. If you're hanging with me, that's awesome. Okay, so I did want to show you one other thing here. I'm going to turn this guy over so you can see these notes on the back here. Now, in order for me to do this correct, I'm going to have to spin this guy around also because the numbers are upside down. So let's get this out of the way and this out of the way. Let's line up our nut to the bridge. And this tells us the notes and the specific harmonic. So the first fret is what do we say? Divide by 16. The second fret is divide by 9. You have this extra minor third in here. The normal minor third is divide by 6. Major third divide by 5. And you can see it's equal tempered. Here's the flat. No, this is the 4th. It's divide by 4. This one here is the flat at 5. I opt for equal tempered flat 5, but these are the harmonics. The 5th is divide by 3. Flat 6 divide by 8. The major 6th. Oh, these are the frets here. The 9th fret, 8th fret, 9th fret. That's a divide by 5 also harmonic. The flatted 7 is also a divide by 8. Again, I go by the B string. And then this one here, the major 7th, is a divide by 15 again. Doesn't look like it's lined up exactly, but if I flip it over, you'll see that I drew it right in alignment with. That way it was easy for me to see. Okay, real quickly before I put all of this stuff up, I did want to explain a little bit more in detail of this because I realized that there's a lot of confusion on this and nobody likes confusion. But you'll see here there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This template is designed for a 4 string. Now, if you know me, I usually go with 3. So I usually go with the root and the 5th and the root. This one here, this would be, these mathematical divisions on this line right here are for the, if you were, like for example, if I was to tune 1, 5, 1, this would be the 4. And this is how you can tell here, because this one here is the divide by 3, and you can see the divide by 3 is over here, divide by 3, which corresponds to the 7th fret. The 5th fret, which is right here, is divide by 4, and you can see this number here, 4, that would be here. So that's where the harmonics continue on, if you were to continue up from here. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it's a continuation. That's why they're like all over the place here. So, okay, so this would be the root. This would be the 5th, which is here at the 7th fret, right here where my thumb is.
And you can see the 3/2 is the same as 3/2. And then this 4/3 is like right here where my thumb is now, 4/3 on the bottom. And it's just a continuation. So I do have the paper templates for these guys as well. Email me and I can forward you that. I mean, I can't send this thing here because it's my one and only. But I do sell the slotted, pre-slotted. Now, say for example, you wanted all the mini frets. Then what I would do is I would just do like this, for example, and then you just fill in where you don't need. I'll show you that here in just a little bit. So this is what I call severe, boom, severe JI. And that is so that you can get all of the different ones and not just the basic JI. I'll show you the basic JI here. Here is the basic or standard JI where I just follow the root string. So I go nut, root, 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 except for up here at the flat 5. And so, and then of course the Just Tempered, which is the approximation between Just Intonation and Equal Tempered. And here is one of my just intonated. This is a severe slightly. And you can see all the dust in here. Crazy, huh? This is that major third home, I guess. So Just Intonation, I'm telling you guys, in my opinion, sounds freaking amazing.
So you can see right here how I do the fret all the way across. And then I only do a mini on the inside, and then I fill it in where I don't need the slot. Same thing here. This is my older version where I actually went with the harmonics for the flat 5. But then since I built this one, now I opt for the equal tempered flat 5. So this is one of my older ones here. Now here is the flat 7, which is the 10th fret. And you can see how I originally opted for the 7/2/7/4. I put the fret in there, but then I didn't like the sound of it. I opted for this one here, the 8/3. And this one here also correlates with the equal tempered. So for the 10th fret, my ear tells me to go with the equal tempered fret spacing or the harmonic division on the B string, if that makes sense. So that's just me, that's just my ear. Everything else is the same. So again, that's how you do it, is you cut the double and then you put the mini fret in and then you just fill it in with something, and then you can't even really tell unless you look really close. So yeah, and this guy's all beat up. Tried to get all fancy with the mother pearl and the screws and trying to be artsy fartsy. Oh, you guys want to hear the chickens? Hey, doggy. Got little chicks in there.